All right, everybody, welcome into the ConExpo Show 2023 here in Vegas. I'm Josh, joined by the folks from Rooster GPS Tracking, and specifically Wayne, who's going to let you know how this system works. Thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
What are we looking at here?
So we're looking at a solution, a tool that we created internally. So we're really a group of construction companies from the Midwest, out of Kansas, and we struggled with a few different things, and one of them was we wanted to know what equipment we had for sure. We wanted to know where that equipment was at, and kind of the kicker that's a little bit different is we wanted to know whether or not that equipment was being used. And so we came to trade shows like this for a few years and tried to find a solution, and there was a bit of a fatal flaw with everything that we found with some of the different technologies. So we decided to create our own tool, and it took a little while, quite a bit of investment, but we came up with something that we feel like we're pretty proud of.
All right, and the Rooster system, that equipment you're talking about, you got a GPS hub, you have the trackers, and then you have the software behind it that talks to the cell towers.
That's right.
Then sends the information to the cloud where it's accessible.
That's right.
As far as that goes, if I had a construction company with, let's say 24 pieces of equipment or so, ranging from generators to mini excavators,
right.
What type of infrastructure would I need to get started with you guys?
So what we would recommend is since the hub is the powered device that has to connect to a battery source, we would recommend putting a hub inside each of the supervisor pickups as well as the heavy equipment, and then the trackers would go on the non-powered equipment. So the smaller tools, not necessarily small tools, but if you're spending more than $500 on a generator or a pump, it might be worth it. Certainly if you're spending more than $1,000, it would definitely be worth the investment to be able to track that by way of a tracker.
Okay. And you mentioned runtime. I mean, a lot of our listeners out there, they have equipment where they don't know if their generator has 100 hours on it or 1,000 hours, and aside from being able to bill out hours and stuff, there's maintenance required as well. So how do you guys track runtime on your equipment?
So what we do is we connect directly into the onboard computer system within, whether it's a pickup truck that uses an OBD connection, or it's a piece of heavy equipment that uses the J1939 CAN bus, which is still just the internal computer system. That feeds us the data that we need, that gives us those meter readings, so that we can then interpret them in software and provide that to our customers through the user interface.
Okay, all right. And then putting myself in the business owner's shoes, how can I access all of this information, use it to my advantage, and how easy is it to use?
So we try to not be prescriptive. So what we've built is a tool, and this tool can be used in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different circumstances. But as an owner, to be able to answer those three core questions of what do I own, where is it at, and is it being used, is something that we can provide you all day, every day for any piece of equipment or tool that you have. From an investment standpoint, we're trying to help the owners maximize the return on their investment, because if you've bought a generator or a pump, and granted it may not have costed a ton of money, but you haven't used it in 10 months, you may not know that you haven't used it in 10 months. But
Right.
Rooster can tell you whether or not you have, and if there's no usage, maybe you should sell it and rent it next time instead of buying more of that equipment. Conversely, if you're using a ton of that equipment, maybe it's time to buy more, especially if a good deal comes up on generators or pumps. Buy more of them because you're using them.
Awesome. Well, can you show us how it works a little bit?
Absolutely. So what we have up here is the user interface that's going to show you the map of where all of the different devices are located. In this particular case, this is down near Oxford, Mississippi, and I can click on this right here. So the numbers represent the devices and the locations of those devices and the assets attached to them. So this is a live job site near downtown Oxford, and you can see these icons right here are going to show us that they have the hubs attached. So that's going to be your heavy equipment and pickup trucks, and then the silver icons are going to show you the tractors. So at this job site, we can pull up the excavator. We can see it's a 2016 John Deere excavator, if we want to view the telematics, it'll give us the VIN number, the total fuel consumption, as well as the engine hours. So it's pretty typical in terms of what you might find from a normal telematics solution. And then we can also pull up, let's say this is now this is our yard, but let's say we want to pull up a pickup truck and see where that truck has been that day. We have a nice feature for that. This is called View Daily Movement, and it can show us exactly where that truck was today. We can see where that truck was yesterday and the day before. So that gives us a good look at what the mapping feature of the user interface does. The next piece is the assets page, and this quite simply is just where we allow our customers to upload their asset list and from an Excel spreadsheet, and it just automatically will populate into the categories and subcategories. So I've highlighted one here, the RAM or compactor category, and this shows us what we have. And I could pull up the map right here, show where it's at, and see the activity. And then the last piece of this actually is the activity page. And so what this is going to show us, it has a similar look and feel as the prior assets page, but it'll break it down by piece of equipment and tell us that this equipment trailer was at the shop. It was at 4 different job sites throughout the week. This is a 1-week snapshot, and it'll tell us the amount of time that trailer was there. So we know, this is good news for us. We know that equipment trailer is going to the job site, unloading quickly, and leaving the job site. Right. So we can do this with, again, all the different assets, and whether it's a trailer or an excavator, or whether it's a generator or pump, they all paint a little different picture of what's going on for us.
Right. Awesome. Well, I mean, in the last 5 minutes, I feel like I know how to use this system already. It seems super easy to use, very beneficial, especially the more equipment you have, the more beneficial it is from what I can understand. But where do people go to buy it?
So they can certainly go to the website, which is just www.rooster.com. And from there, it's a very intuitive and informative website. It'll break down all the products there. There's a 1-800 number there. So that's probably the best place to start.
In-house tech servicing, or do you guys outsource?
In-house tech servicing?
Yeah, for implementation, and should there be an issue with one of the one of the modules or one of the trackers, do you guys service that yourself?
Yeah. It's all because we created it ourselves in-house. We're the best ones to help with any problems or issues that may come up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all the links to where you can go for more information on the Rooster system will be in the description of this video. And Wayne, we certainly appreciate your time, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, keep it tuned in to the Add 10 Gallons Concrete Podcast socials for more of the cool stuff we're finding here at the ConExpo show.